And we are now live. Okay. Uh, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Wars in the Stars, episode 22. Special episode today. Obviously, our favorite Disney Plus Marvel show is unfortunately over. Loki. I don't know if my co-host watched, but they had a making of Loki today that came out.
I thought it was just a trailer. I didn't know it was the actual thing. I
No,
saw
I was.
the what's it called? I forgot. I uninstalled Disney Plus on my phone. I had saw that they had put on Twitter they were going to do a trailer, but I didn't know that they already released it. God, I'm busy after this podcast then.
Yeah. I watched it today. It was good. It was interesting to just hear the behind the scenes of you know uh how they made the show, like what went into the process of making a character like Sylvie, and uh
But the
they
question is, what went into the process of making easily the best part of that show,
that was
Alligator
Mike
Loki?
that was Michael Waldron, the head writer, who said, I thought of the idea and they let it happen. And there's a funny gift. I wonder if I can find it.
Is it him? Is it the blue alligator? Or
Yes,
yes, that's all I've seen was a picture
it's
of it.
biting President Loki's hand, and Tom Hiddleston's
Yes,
just punching it like this. It's
yes.
very funny. It's very funny. But yeah, it's cool to see. Obviously, we get a lot of stuff from that show. Like the actor who plays Kid Loki today said that he is thousands of years old. He was
Yeah.
pruned thousands of years ago. That's what he said. So
Fun,
just been chilling.
which is funny because when Thor had said that story in Ragnarok, he was like, "Oh, he stabbed me when we were 8." How old does an 8-year-old Asgardian look like?
I don't know.
They probably still look like fucking fetuses. Like, I cannot imagine what they look like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Asgardians like age. I think they age like normal humans, but at a certain point they just stay like probably for their first 15 years of life they age like us, just a 1 year at a time. But then
Yeah,
once they hit like age 15, they just stay like that for a while, and then
right.
they progressively get older.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I would like to see, like, you know how they do that uh you know how they do those like time lapses of people like taking pictures of themselves like
Yeah.
every day. Could you imagine
Oh
watching
God.
that? That'd be like a 30-minute time lapse
For like
that
Odin.
version.
For Odin.
Yes.
Oh man.
Or Thor. Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. So that had nothing to do with our topic today. So Alex and I decided to do a rewatch of the MCU, or some of the MCU. The movies that A, we haven't seen a lot, B, we disagree on, or C, that suck, and we maybe need another rewatch on it to determine if it actually sucks. Looking at you, Captain Marvel and Thor: The Dark World, and Iron Man 2.
That we are.
Sorry. So yeah, that's what we decided to do. And recently, Alex and I started with the two Ant-Man. So I want to have Alex kind of give his thoughts on these films before the rewatch, and then I'll give my thoughts on these films before I rewatch them.
So, yeah, I was someone who I thought first Ant-Man was pretty average, like 5 out of 10, and then I remember just not liking Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm not gonna give any major spoilers as to if some of those thoughts carried over from movie to movie, but yeah, ultimately I didn't think anything fond of them. I thought they maybe were funny, but yeah, it was very jarring. One of my opinions on these movies changed drastically. The other one kind of got worse. But yeah, what about you?
So for me, I agree. I thought they were both pretty average to me. They were always really neck and neck for me. The weird thing is like these movies feel weird like when you compare him to the rest of the MCU. It's just like,
Yeah.
why is there an Ant-Man movie? I know it's just it's interesting to me. I think the concept of Ant-Man. I think Paul Rudd is fantastic. Maybe one of my favorite Marvel actors. He's funny.
Right.
It's definitely believable as Ant-Man. Obviously, I've always thought these movies were hilarious, but I've never like really understood why these even had to happen. I understand that Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of plays a big role in Endgame
Mhm.
with the quantum realm and all that. But yeah, they were always weird to me. I thought they were pretty
Yeah.
average.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but I guess we'll now segue into the first Ant Man. Alex, what did you think on rewatch? Just your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into the more nitty gritty of the movie.
I mean, I'll be honest. It jumped in my MCU ranking from pretty low to pretty high. Um, you know, before I had watched this movie, I had said that Black Widow was probably the funniest MCU movie. This movie gives Black Widow a good run for its money. I mean, it was very funny, but yeah, I overall enjoyed this. I think it had a great villain. Something that I would honestly say probably since the Winter Soldier to forward, excluding Infinity War and Endgame, obviously, Marvel has kind of struggled with villains. Not believable enough, not interesting enough, but it's really been since Thanos and yeah, just the two Thanoses we see in Infinity War and Endgame. Um, it's just I definitely feel like Darren Cross has been easily the best since then. Maybe I'm forgetting a villain, but
Killmonger.
yeah, he didn't impress me that much. I understood the
Okay.
character. I understood him. I understood his motives. I think he's by far the most relatable villain. But I just wasn't a fan of his character all that much. I don't know. That's why we're doing these rewatches because I'm indifferent about how I feel about him. So a Black Panther
Okay.
rewatch is definitely due after our next movie. But yeah, it's just like I'm struggling to think of any villains really since Winter Soldier that have been like, oh my god, like you understand the villain, you really sympathize with the villain. Again, maybe until Thanos.
Right. So, do you have any other overall general thoughts about Ant Man
I
without
do,
getting into the
yeah,
nitty gritty?
I do not like Hope Van Dyne's goddamn haircut in this movie. The Karen haircut is an off put. I like her haircut more in um, and Ant Man and the Wasp, but overall loved her character in this movie. And I know you and I kind of have the same general thought. Basically, any scene with Hank and Hope are easily the best in the movies, especially in Ant Man 1. Um, Especially that scene where Hank comes forward with what really happened with her mom. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
What are your general thoughts?
I think this movie is really underrated. Um, I know on your Marvel video that you did a little, I think a week or so ago, you said it's your most underrated MCU film. I think that's definitely it's definitely up there for me as an underrated film. I really think I always thought that Darren Cross was like Obadiah Stan 2.0. Like I think Marvel has a tough time with those like those Dracovs, those Obadiah Stans, those who was the guy in Winter Soldier, the Hydra
Bucky?
dude. No, 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 the Hydra dude, not
Oh,
Bucky.
Rumlow?
Yes, yeah, like they just have problems with those type of villains, like
Yeah.
rich governmental. Uh, they're not really relatable.
Yeah. Well,
They don't do anything. Derek Cross was the
yeah.
exception to that. I think we understood his motives. Uh, and no offense to like Obadiah Stan, I think the actor who plays him does great. I just don't care for him. Derek Cross is like very believable as an apprentice that was too into the philosophy and the idea of Ant-Man and just got so caught up in it that like he
Well,
didn't realize his own mistakes.
what's even cool about this, since we were talking about Loki earlier, in episode 5 or 6, you see Yellow Jacket's helmet. So
Right.
so my idea and question to you is, do you think when Ant-Man made him go subatomic, that his helmet ended up in the void?
I don't necessarily think that. There is rumor that he's going to appear in Quantumania. I don't think he died. I
I
think
don't
he's
either.
some. I think he's somewhere in the quantum realm.
I think he just got really, 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 really small.
Yeah, I think he's in the quantum realm.
Yes, I do too. Yeah, go on. What else you got for this movie?
Yeah. So Darren Cross was really. I thought he was in way less of the film. It's another
Yeah.
case of a character that I just was like, he's in that much of the film. You know, his motives were good. Uh, I really like Luis. Obviously, that the whole Scott's crew. I love Luis's introductions. Like, he's like, "I got the van though,"
Yeah,
but
he's
it's like
like talking about how
his
yeah.
dad's been deported. His mom died. I think I don't remember it all, but it's like,
Oh yeah, and she doesn't have a girlfriend anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's
So
like
bad.
I know this guy's gonna be good. I like his whole team. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also really like Hank in this film. I think Hank Pym is a really underrated character,
Mm-hmm.
especially since he tries so much to not be like a Stark that he almost is like Tony. Like he lies his way through
Honestly,
life.
yeah.
He lies his way, he lied to his daughter about what happened. He was a deadbeat dad. It's
Yeah,
like
which
almost like Howard with
yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, well, it's almost funny because in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I believe, he talks about how he never wanted his equipment to ever fall into the hands of a Stark. And then come Endgame, it's those two genius minds of Scott Lang and Tony Stark using nanotechnology
Right.
and the Ant-Man technology that they're able to do everything that they do.
It's probably the reason they won. It is
Yeah,
the reason they won, yeah.
it's literally, if you think about it, if Hank Pym and Howard Stark got along, do you know how different the MCU would have been?
That's a branch reality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a prune timeline right there. Is if
Yeah.
Hank and Howard got along.
Which, by the way, I don't mean to segue off of our Ant-Man discussion, but I was just thinking about this today. So you know how Sylvie and Loki caused the worst Nexus event that the TVA had seen? You're telling me if somebody else got the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped away an entire universe, that would somehow not be as bad as a Loki loving himself?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Just the whole
Well,
timeline snapped. How do you prune that? What do you do there?
um, prune the air.
Yeah, I guess so.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Throw a reset charge in there. Like,
One reset charge for the whole universe. Just throw it
yes.
in the middle of space.
Yep, I guess so. But yeah, I have a whole Loki thing to talk to you about. Maybe we'll do it at the end after we
Yeah.
talk about Quantumania. But overall, for this movie, though, I mean, I will say, like, the music in this movie is really good. I love the Ant-Man theme. I don't know why. Every time I hear just the beginning melody of it, it's just like, oh, I'm excited. I'm in. And then, of course, like easily the best parts of these movies, or some of the best, is Luis explaining anything.
Oh, of course.
Yes, it's amazing. And the Stan Lee cameo in this movie is amazing. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So, I guess some more of my general thoughts. Hope and Hank. Like to me, the two Ant-Man movies are at its strongest when Hope and Hank have a moment, especially in this film. I feel like Ant-Man is just like the audience. Like he's like, what's going on right now, man? Like,
I mean, yeah,
even
he literally goes, "This is awesome."
yeah, this is a great moment.
You're healing. You're
Yeah,
healing.
I love how and like Scott just the whole time's like, why am I here right now? What is going on? Like that's how
Yeah,
I, which
that
is
moment
awesome.
when he wakes up, he's like, Where are you? Or who am I? Where am I? And can I go back to jail?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and I think like the Ant-Man films, as funny as they are, it's like the heart to heart moments, like Scott with his daughter
Yeah.
Cassie. It's like that's really strong stuff. Like as much as I like it's like Thor Ragnarok. Like I like the comedy in that. It's all right. It's hit or miss. But the best moments are like Thor and Loki together in Ragnarok. It's like I
Yeah.
feel the
Like
same way with the Ant-Man movies.
when it comes to the Thor movies, is it such a surprise that when Thor and Loki are on screen together, that's when they're their best? But you know what I find funny? Somewhat to go off topic here. I do not like the Thor and Loki relationship in the Avengers movie.
Why not?
I don't like it. I don't know. Because I don't know. Thor
It
feels
feels it
very
feels
like
very
no
feels on
you say
brand for Loki.
no it feels on brand for Loki, but Thor just feels like very like mm, ugh. I don't know. Maybe it's because I love Ragnarok Thor so much. When he's a bit funnier, bit leanier to Loki, I don't know. But yeah, it's easily the MCU's at its best when the families are talking and all that. When they're at those very emotional moments.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Uh, this movie, I mean, although it's not a movie, but the Loki TV series, WandaVision especially.
Oh yeah.
Um, but and especially like again, it's easily some of the best scenes in almost every part of the Marvel. Those are very emotional scenes. I mean, take Thor Ragnarok. Easily the best scene from that movie is that elevator talk with Thor and Loki. And again, easily one of the best scenes in this movie is Hank telling the truth about what happened to Janet. So
Right.
that and it's also a thing for Hank. Every time Janet is even mentioned, even thought about, he's defensive. He's snappy. I mean, the beginning
Right.
scene at Shield shows us anything. I mean,
Right.
that man he slammed that poor guy's face on that table so hard
Right.
it instantly bled.
Right.
Um,
Hank's a strong guy, man. Don't mess with Hank.
I know, which is also like a lot of people question the Um, people ask if it's a plot hole how the Ant-Man shrinking tech works, because technically, the way that Hope explains it to Scott is that you still have the weight of however heavy you are, but if that's the case, how does Hank have a literal tank on his keychain?
Right.
How does Scott standing on those guns not you know weigh them down? It's an inconsistency that it's like, oh well,
Who cares?
maybe yeah.
It's a mind. It's like I don't care about those
It's
type
a,
of things.
it's also a
That's just
thing
me.
like it's also a thing that it's like Hope was never in the Ant-Man suit, so she doesn't know the tech like that. So
Right.
maybe she doesn't understand it or something. It's something that's so small, but I don't know. Consistency is key, people. It's key.
Yeah, it's never really bothered me. So I guess I also want to say that the fight scene between Yellow Jacket and Ant Man is not that bad. I think it's
Yeah,
good.
it's good. It's a
I
good
like
fight
I
scene.
like I like how they're fighting just on the little train track, and
Yeah,
it looks so dramatic. But
it looks
it's just
when it zooms out to like Cassie's point of view. It's so bad.
it's so
It's so
funny.
funny.
Or
But
when
yeah,
Yellow Jacket is like stuck in the lamp at that person's
right.
house. It's like, jeez, these guys are like fighting. Somebody's phone goes off in that briefcase
Yeah.
when it falls down from the
Yeah,
helicopter. I think that's all
it
great.
starts playing the music. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's amazing. I think
uh,
again, I think there's any single bit of bad comedy in this movie. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think Paul Rudd is just funny, just a
Yes,
naturally like funny
yes,
person.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I don't honestly think there's a single bad character in this movie. Can you think of one? Because I can't.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
say the stepdad's a dick, but he's a good character.
Paxton. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess he's someone who like you.
but that's what he's meant to be.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not someone who you're like meant to hate. He's someone who's like he's meant to be like a thorn in the antagonist on the protagonist's side, but he's trying to technically help the protagonist. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird,
Right,
because,
right.
especially with the weird relationship change with him and Scott in the next movie. It's really weird.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, he did save their life.
I
So
know, but it's just like I don't know. I mean, Scott, he did just tase you. Like at the end of the movie when they're eating dinner together, it's like he did just tase you. Like probably not even an hour ago.
right.
So
I also think what this movie does a great job with is the ants.
yes, they're really cool in this movie.
They are. Rest in
Yeah,
peace, my guy Anthony. But
yeah. But
that
I
was a
think
traumatic moment.
I think a great underrated moment is the fight with Falcon in this movie. I
Oh my
love
god.
everything when Scott first arrived there and he's like, "I thought you said this was an abandoned warehouse, you son of a bitch!"
This is
So
the Avengers.
it's the literal Avengers compound. like
Uh,
like
by the way,
literally, you could not get any worse than that.
which brings up a lot of questions to me is like, why do you, no offense to Falcon, I love Anthony Mackie, I'm so happy he's Captain America. Why is he guarding it? Why is Falcon
Well,
and all people
I don't
guarding
know.
it?
I think everyone is there, or I think people are there, like probably like Black Widow or something like that. I don't know, but yeah,
I could definitely see Wanda and Vision chilling there. I definitely think
yeah.
that's what's up.
Could you imagine if Wanda was the person who he had to fight? Oh my god, he'd be done.
Or
I mean,
Vision.
or Vision, bro. Like he's trying to like phase through the grass to try to like pick him up.
Which, by the way, I know this has to relate to the Ant-Man character, but one of his best moments in Civil War is when Vision like flies through
Yes, he's like
him,
something just went through me.
and then Vision like headbutts him, and it's like just a ginormous. It's so funny. No, but it is a good fight. He's like, "Hi, I'm Scott." It's just
and
like,
it cuts up. He's like, "Did he just say hi? I'm Scott."
and then he's like, uh, "Oh my god!" And then Falcon at the end, it's like, "Don't tell Cap about this."
Yeah, it's
Or
like
Steve.
that whole interaction. I could literally almost recite that entire fight. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I also
And
think
that's
though it's an interesting combo of to put someone against someone is Sam versus Ant-Man.
right.
You have you have a bird versus an ant. So it's like, you wouldn't think that the ant would win, but
I
brain
honestly,
works.
I honestly think this movie does an excellent job of giving us Scott as a small person, like we know it, like we know he's small, but it does a good job of showing that. I think, like just
Yeah.
illustrating the difference between like how it would show him small against Falcon and then big. And I honestly think that like the Pym particle might be the most OP thing in all of Marvel. Like if you could be a tiny
Dude,
and
could
then
you
big.
imagine? Could you imagine if just Ant-Man was like awake during that final fight in Endgame, and he sees like the gauntlet, and he's like, "Wait, let me throw something at her real fast." Fucking just shrinks the gauntlet. It's just
Right.
like now no one can use it. Then,
Thanos is like trying to put it on or like
yeah, but no. Could you then just imagine Anthony comes back from the grave and he snaps his finger? Oh my god, bro! He's the biggest unsung hero.
or the popular one where Ant-Man just goes up
Yes,
Thanos.
subatomic through his anus.
Yeah, that would.
It would. I don't know. I really like the pairing of Sam Wilson in this movie. Unexpected. I remember first watching it. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Falcon.
Oh my god, Anthony Mackie, you're looking good.
Anthony Mackie, cut the check.
Oh my god,
cut the check.
That's probably why he was. That's probably why he was included in this movie.
Cut the check. He wanted the check, man.
No, it's because his name is Anthony Mackie. The first three letters of his name is Ant. Oh my god!
No, he was in the movie because he just wanted another paycheck. So yeah.
No.
He's also in the end credit scene of this movie,
He is, and it's a
which is
it's a Civil War thing.
which is just a scene from Civil War that they put in.
I can only imagine how confusing that was. Like, could you imagine being like, did Marvel get the wrong movie? Like the wrong post credit scene?
I would be watching like, what does this have to do anything with like?
Like, there's no Ant-Man in that scene, no mention of him, no nothing.
But there is a second post credit, right? There is.
Yes, it's where Hope sees the Wasp suit, the upgraded Wasp suit.
Right. Yeah, that is really good. So
hold on, I will say, my one downside is the costumes. Other than Yellow Jacket, I don't like the Ant-Man suit in this movie or the Wasp's costume. I don't know. I definitely think they're one of Marvel's weakest suits.
I'm trying to think. I don't mind them. I will say, I think the weakest suits are all of the suits in the Avengers movie.
The first one?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Except Iron Man's. Iron Man's suits get worse as they go. Like Infinity War and Endgame, I think they suck. I'm sorry.
I don't. I love when I'm making one, but
no, I think Cap's like bright, like baby blue. Nah.
It's not bright baby blue. It's a like navy or royal blue.
Ooh, I wouldn't go that. I don't think it's.
Yes, it is. Oh my god, are you high? I don't like the cowl that he has on. I think it's
I'm
ugly.
looking this up.
I think it looks so much better when he has the helmet off. I just do not like the cowl, which is funny because it feels like every time that a Captain America has a cowl on, I hate it. I don't like Sam Wilson's cowl, and I just do not like Captain America's in this movie. The helmet.
Are you all right?
What?
Are you all right? You're right.
It's like a royal or like a navy blue.
It's
especially like I don't know, like when they're on the Shield helicarrier, it's darker when they're in.
It definitely feels like they were going for like that comic accurate, first. His original.
Coulson said that he only like tuned up the suit, so that makes me question: did they just take his original World War II suit?
I would hope not.
And then just kind of like sewed it tighter together.
Bro, I will say Thor's thing sucks. His outfit's not great.
It's more or less his Thor 1 outfit.
Natasha's this Jesus man. I can't believe they did that. No surprise it was Joss Whedon, but
the only costume like look, I like Hawkeye. I think I'm
Hawkeye's a beast.
I think I'm one of the only people who like Hawkeye. Dude, I want to say before I finish this, I ran into a Natasha Stan account, dude, and she said that Natasha cleared her ledger by working with S.H.I.E.L.D., and I responded, yes, clearly, basically her becoming an unknowing Nazi is a good thing. And then she was like, but I was like, shut up.
Where she would end up killing more people.
Yes. Literally, I was like, in her defection to S.H.I.E.L.D., she killed a little girl. Or tried to kill a little girl. Like, what an honorable, noble thing you did.
The best thing Natasha did was leak all those files.
Well, she also sacrificed her life for the Soul Stone.
True. She did.
But, yeah.
So did Clint, though. So did Clint.
Oh, Hawkeye. I will say, I'm a big Hawkeye fan, okay? I have the Ronin costume. But man, I hate his Avengers costumes. I love his Age of Ultron. Like I love the little.
He looks like just a generic dude if he were to go out there and fight.
Yes, like I don't like this. He almost died to glass in this movie. Like he didn't almost die to any Chitauri. He went through a window and almost killed himself doing it.
He has one of his. I think this is one of his best sniper films besides Age of Ultron.
Hell no. I've told you this multiple times. He holds his fucking bow wrong. His arm is curved.
I don't care about that. It just looks cool when he does the no look.
Yes, that's okay. I will give him that. He does have.
And when he also does the thing with Loki, when the thing blows up in Loki's face, or Loki catches it like.
Or when he takes the arrow out of the Chitauri and makes it into a grappling thing.
Yes.
Which also.
And then he almost dies to glass, like you said.
Yes. Arrow and Arrow has this problem, but Age of Ultron Clint and Endgame Clint have this problem. They just have so many goddamn arrows. Like, oh my god, I feel like they are just running on infinite. Like, they never run out.
And then he
Run
starts
out.
to suck. Like, he has an awful shot in Civil War. Like, with Black Panther literally, like, 2 feet in front of him. He keeps missing.
Yes.
And then, like, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to fight this dude.
Which, that I will say, Civil War has one of my most creative uses of Ant-Man and Hawkeye, is when Ant-Man's on the arrow tip. And
Yes.
he's like, what does he call him? Does he call him, like, Arrow Guy? I don't remember what he calls him. Like, Bow Guy or Arrow Guy?
I don't know.
And then he shoots him up at Tony. Which, could you imagine how scary that was, knowing that he puts Ant-Man on an explosive arrow?
Right.
So if he doesn't jump off at the right time, we're gonna have a little bit of a dead Ant-Man.
Yeah, dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Hawkeye's costume is. I don't care about comic accuracy, but it's like not even close to his comic costume.
No, that's why the Hawkeye show is here to give us that the comic accurate costume.
Maybe.
But yeah,
it also has our favorite MCU character, Yelena Belova.
Yes,
which pretty heavily rumored to be in multiple episodes. Not one, multiple.
That's the thing also about Hawkeye. I know we're supposed to be talking about Ant-Man, but oh well.
Who cares?
I love his costumes. Endgame has my 2 favorite costumes of him. I'm about to start printing the gauntlets for him. That's going to be I have his bow and then the gauntlets, and then I'm going full in on the Iron Man suit. I have commitment problems, okay? But yeah, dude, it's like, oh my god, that's something I just cannot wait to have is his bow done. I love Hawkeye's bow more than the arrow bow, so.
Which brings up another question for me. So Tony decides to recruit like a 16-year-old and gives him a whole ass suit and everything, multiple suits. Why does he need
also access to like make any suit that he wants? Like,
why doesn't he give that stuff to like Natasha and Clint? Literally, people on his team.
He does. Not any suit that they want. Like that they were technically property of Shield at that point. So Shield had anything that they wanted, but Hawkeye could have any bow that he wanted. That's why when people talk about the Arrow versus Hawkeye discussion of who would win in a fight, and they're like, "Oh, Oliver Queen because he has so much money." It's like, well, if you watch the show, you find out that he goes bankrupt, and you also find out that literally he. Not only is Hawkeye a trained professional, he has the supporting of, at one point, S.H.I.E.L.D. and then Tony Stark. Someone who did not go bankrupt. He just died.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. That whole debate is stupid, but whatever.
By the way, speaking of the Arrowverse, I think The Flash did the dumbest thing I've ever seen last night.
Dude, that clip has been everything on my For You page superhero related.
I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, so I used to see this thing on TikTok where it'd be like a small little trend in the like Star Wars or the Marvel TikTok fandoms where it would be like showing my favorite character, and it would say that it's like Black Widow, and then it would show a video of like Captain America, and the hashtag would be like Nick Fury or whatnot. Literally, dude, I saw that with The Flash. It was like, guys, I'm about to show you my favorite Star Wars scene in all of history. And it was the fucking Flash fight. I was like, yeah. So I'll probably watch up to season 3 of that show, and then I'm going to drop it. It's so bad, dude. It's also like the choreography sucks, and the effect looks terrible.
A show is about speedsters, and they decide to fight with lightsabers in the season finale.
And people
with Godspeed.
The defense of them is like, well, they're comic accurate. That doesn't matter. They still look bad.
That should be the end of that show. Like, you should end on that note. Like, you've ran that show into the water. See, this is the thing. So we're going all over the place, but who cares? So I just rewatched The Mandalorian today. I rewatched Sanctuary yesterday and Gunslinger today. Which, by the way, Gunslinger actually got better for me. It's still not great.
Look at that.
It's still not fantastic. But I was thinking about it today. It's like, how many seasons is The Mandalorian going to have? I'm like, I'd be fine with 5 or 6, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be down. All right, let's shift back to Ant-Man.
Okay.
We went
Okay.
to Star Wars. We went to the Flash. We went to Hawkeye. We went to Captain America. This sprung from Captain America. I want you to
Right,
know.
right. So yeah.
But
So I guess
oh,
a final thing about this movie. What do you rate it?
I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10. And then I'll give it an 8.5.
Ooh, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's very solid. It's middle, upper middle of the MCU for me, probably.
Yeah.
Good cast.
I
It's
also
just a
want to
solid
say,
film.
like when I give it an 8.5, it's hard because I'm doing it from a scale of 1 to 10. So if I say it's like a 6 out of 10, it sounds like I don't like the movie. If I say it's a 10 out of 10, it sounds like it's my favorite movie. I will say, for me personally, I'm gonna restart my ranking the MCU movies, where I'll be rating them out of scores of 50. So you can give it a more precise thing. If I were to go on to it right now, like I need to think harder about it and probably maybe even rewatch the movie one more time. Probably right now, it'd probably be like a 37 out of 50 for me.
Yeah, my thing with this is like it's a movie that's like who cares, but it's good still. It's a good
Yeah,
who cares movie.
it's also like a movie where it's like the stakes aren't technically that high. But they are at the same time, because the whole thing is they want to stop Aaron from selling the yellow jacket suit to Hydra, to the Ten Rings, like to literally terrorists. So
Right.
where that would literally destroy the world with war. So yeah, it's
Right.
like technically the stakes are high, but are they? Because this could easily be
Comparative to
solved by like
the
an Avenger.
comparative to everything else.
Yeah, it's also a thing of like I will say, before I say that, it has one of the most gruesome scenes in this movie when Darren shrinks that guy to
Oh
like
my
a
god!
sludge,
Wow!
and he just fucking wipes him up and throws him away into the toilet.
Wow!
It's like, bruh, what happened?
That's
It's
dark,
a
man. And it also has like animal killing, man. Like they
yes.
take that sheep, the goat or whatever, and then they kill multiple ants. It's like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
kill Anthony, man. That's
But Drew, what do you give your rating?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. So when I do my rating, I think usually if it's just, so for example, with the Bad Batch, I usually give the episodes like a 6 out of 10 because a 6 out of 10 means you didn't do anything good, you didn't do anything bad though. Anything below that, you did more bad than good. A 7.5 is usually like mid pack for me, so this is above the middle of the pack. So it's gonna get an 8 out of 10. It's hard to get a 10 out of 10 for me, so 8 out of 10. Uh, it's very solid for Ant Man.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm someone. It's hard to get a 10 out of 10. That's why I think I only have 2 MCU movies as 10 out of 10s, and that being even though it's recency bias and just because of Yelena herself, Black Widow, and even though I'll be realistic, that movie's not a 10 out of 10, but Yelena herself
I
is
give
a
it a
10 out of
seven and
10.
a half. Just for
Yeah,
context, I'd give it a 7.5.
yeah. And then my only like true like 10 out of 10, I haven't fluctuated since the first time that I watched it to, I think I'm on like my 9th watch of it right now, and
The
that's the
first Avengers.
Avengers. Yes,
Okay.
that's it. I think
I
that
don't
movie through and through is a perfect movie.
I don't even give Infinity. I give Infinity War like a 9.9.
Yeah, and well, no, it's like the only thing
That's my
with
favorite MCU movie.
Infinity War, that's the movie I'm excited for us to rewatch because I don't inherently dislike the movie. I think Endgame bogs it down.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think
But
I think that's how we need to watch those movies. By the way, is back to back because that's how they segue into each other. So
so
we'd have to clear a good day for that.
yeah. So do you feel like that those just to clarify, but do you feel like that's you should watch that as one whole movie?
Yes, because that's how they were intended to be watched.
Okay,
It's also
that's
because
fair.
that's why I don't like people saying, "Oh, the Last Jedi" or "The Force Awakens." It's like, no, you need to watch those together because they're one story. Like that's why, like you can watch the prequels separately, you can watch the original trilogy by themselves, but 7 and 8 in Infinity War and Endgame, you have to watch them back to back because they segue into each other.
Okay.
Any movie where it's like that, where they go right into each other, those are movies that are must watch.
Okay. That's
Like,
fair.
there could be a debate that Captain Marvel and Infinity War should segue into each other,
Hmm.
but it's just like we don't know a real time frame of when Endgame start. I mean, we do because we know there's at least like 27 days from when Tony fights Thanos on Titan
Right.
to
It's been
when
like a
Captain Marvel
month.
saves them. Yeah, so it's about a month. Infinity War and Endgame, we start literally 2 days after Thanos snaps for the second
Right.
time. So literally like 2 days after his first snap. So those are segues. And for comparison, The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, there's no gap because of the Luke and Rey handoff, but whatever. Which, by the way, I will say that's one of the major things about that movie is I definitely feel like it should have had the crawl, and then it should have had Rey with the lightsaber. As much as I love that little transition to where's Rey, and it goes to Octo. I don't know. I feel just for the flow from movie to movie, it would be better.
That's
I don't know,
fair. All right.
going off the rails, but
All right. Time to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Well, so you went first last time with your general thoughts before you watched the movie.
you go first.
So before I watched this movie, I thought it was close to Ant-Man, relatively. I didn't remember a lot about it. I remember that it's pretty much just why or like how the Avengers time travel.
Yeah.
That's really feels like its only importance. Um, yeah, Luis is funny. That's generally what I remember. Paul Rudd was great again, and Hope. I thought Hope was great as the Wasp. I really think there's some good action. I think the Ant Man movies have underrated action. So that's my general thoughts. Before, I think I won't spoil too much, but I think I'm in the same boat with you on my rewatch of this film. So I want to
Yeah.
get your general thoughts on this film before you watched it again.
Yeah, I think before I watched it, it was kind of in the same boat. Close to Ant Man, probably better, I think, at first than the first Ant Man, but to me, it wasn't anything inherently special. I didn't remember much from this movie. It's again same with you. Explain the Avengers Endgame time travel, but other than that, I wasn't like blown away from this movie. It wasn't anywhere near my favorites. I had known that I was probably going to be in the majority of people who just probably didn't like this movie. And again, this movie kind of suffers from when I first rewatched it. It's and kind of in that same line of thought with your Bad Batch reviews. I would probably give it in your Bad Batch review numbers a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not good. It just didn't do anything special. So that's where I'd say it. And when I get into my first criticisms, I think me and you have the same easily first criticism. There's no villain. There's not a present villain in this movie. I would say there's an anti-villain or an anti-hero, but no villain. Because when I think of villain, I don't go immediately jumping to Darth Vader or Thanos. I think of someone like Tarkin or Thrawn or Callus at first, or Agatha, or Darren Cross, or Obadiah Stane.
Just pure evil.
Yes, evil people with evil intentions. I couldn't tell you where there was an evil intention because it's also not a thing of like, well, I'm sympathizing with Ghost, who's supposed to be the villain of this movie. It's you understand her motives, but you also you don't care for Janet if she dies. You haven't seen her yet. We don't even know who's casted as her at that point in Ant-Man 1. So it's also where are the stakes in this movie? They're the only people who have stakes in this movie are Hank and Hope.
Right.
And Ghost, obviously.
So my thing with what you're saying is like villains can have we can understand their reasoning for things. Like Loki, like Killmonger.
Yeah.
But they take things to the extreme to get to those things.
Yeah.
Ghost, I don't think necessarily does that. Remember, we have to put this in perspective. When we compare Ghost to a character like Killmonger or Loki, Ghost is about to die, like
Hmm.
literally die,
Yeah,
and
well,
all she
yeah,
wants is a piece of quantum technology. Now, sure, she could have like asked for it, but we also have to remember that Hank Pym is very similar to Howard and Tony in the sense that he's a dick.
yeah,
He was a dick.
selfish, selfish.
Yes,
He's more he would rather preserve the knowledge of his tech than use it for good,
right.
which is exactly what Killmonger calls out the Wakandans for. They have all this super advanced tech, but
To help their
rather
people
than
out, they
yeah,
don't.
rather than helping the world out, they're selfish. And then we see the effect of that calling out at the end of the movie. Wakanda opens up its borders, and it opens up many ports around the world to put Wakandan aid to the world.
Right,
So that right there is the easiest MCU comparison to villain has a problem, villain wants resolution. The
right,
only the thing with Ghost was villain had problem, villain had it resolved, and didn't care about the problem anymore.
right,
With Black Panther, it was villain had a problem got solved,
right.
and that was
And
it.
it's like you never like with Killmonger, like I was saying, he still has evil intentions. He's
Mm-hmm.
still a very like brutal.
Yeah.
Ghost isn't. And again, I guess my complaint is there's even in the first Ant Man, they're not villains of Ant Man. They're Hank Pym's problems. And sure, you can make the argument with other villains in the MCU, but and probably in Quantumania, Scott hasn't had a villain that's directly
At him.
at him. Maybe
It,
Agent Wu is Agent Wu like
and in I don't even think Jimmy's a villain in that move in this movie. I think he's more or less just a thorn in his side.
right.
Like
He's doing his job.
technically, he's not doing anything wrong.
Right. Scott did get arrested.
Yeah, Scott was in the wrong for what happened in Civil War with his
Well,
involvement.
I mean, by the law, but we could also have the argument is the Sokovia Accords ethical, which I don't. Excuse me, I
No,
don't think they are.
well, no. I mean, they literally strip people. They strip enhance people of their rights. So
Right.
no, they're not ethical. But still, the airport thing in general. I told you my thoughts. It could have literally been avoided if Tony and Steve just talked instead of Steve getting all defensive and Tony yelling at him.
Right. I'm
So,
not surprised about what Tony did, but Cap in that film is weird. I don't know.
well, you again. I talked with you about this also. That was going to be an Avengers movie. Let's be real. That was going to be
Right.
Avengers 3. But then Marvel wanted it to be Avengers 4. Or Captain America 3.
Right. My thing with Cap in that movie is I definitely think it's an important MCU film, obviously, because I totally think when Cap finally tells Tony the truth, that's when he becomes worthy. Which, by the way, is not what they say, but that's my headcanon on it.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that makes the most sense. And
right.
it also brings up less problems than if he was just worthy all along. Because
And
then
why
it's
didn't he
like,
lift it? He
why,
tried to
yeah,
lift it.
yeah. Well, no, it's also like the reason that they give why he didn't lift. Oh, he didn't want to hurt Thor's ego. Literally, he was stepping on Tony's ego in the Avengers movie before this. And almost
Right.
every time they're in a movie together, he always steps on Tony's ego. So why does Cap all of a sudden have a problem with someone else's ego?
Right.
Inconsistency. Again, I also think Joss Whedon probably was setting up for him to eventually become worthy. Cap would have to go through something to prove his worthiness, like Thor did.
Right.
And then no, the Russos were just like, he was always worthy.
Yeah. Weird
Joss
take by the
Whedon.
Russos.
Yeah. I tell you, I almost like none of the Russo movies. So
Well, yeah. So I guess to get back to Ant Man and the Wasp, the Hope and Hank stuff is good again. Probably not as good as or heartfelt as, or maybe yeah, pretty equal. I like the scene where Janet is sending messages through Scott. It's
it's
absolutely
so
hilarious.
funny, like him touching Hank's face and then holding the hands,
And
and then
Hope,
yeah, it's also like my favorite part about the scene is when when the message to Janet is over, he's just like, got nothing, no message.
yeah,
It's just like
it's like, where am I? He's like, how did I get here?
And then he holds up their hands that they're holding. It's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Uh, yeah, but you could also say that the villain of this is Sonny Birch, who wants the quantum technology.
No,
Again,
he's the same thing as Jimmy Woo. He's more or less a thorn in the side. He gets
yeah,
dealt with almost all the time. It's also like he also sucks as a villain because he could have easily just killed Hope when she like got knocked out of the car. Nah, he was just like, well, drive around her, drive around her. It's
I
just
will
like,
say the chase scene is good. Like Ant-Man has some good action. The chase scene's good.
yes,
And
but it's
I think
again,
Ghost has some interesting powers, obviously. Like,
yeah. Well, it's also a thing where like, from my knowledge, she's not even an Ant-Man villain. She's an Iron Man villain. Or she's someone's villain. I don't because she is the villain in the Iron Man VR game, and I also know a lot of people had said that she's not even an Iron Man or an Ant Man villain. So in the comics, so yeah, again, she's an interesting in theory because it's also like
you're right, by the way.
that she was an Iron Man villain.
Yeah. She's depicted as an anti-hero and she's a member of the Thunderbolts, which I think she could join.
Well, no, she can't. She had all of her ghost powers stripped when Janet healed her.
Really?
Yeah, that she was dying by having those powers. Did you not watch the movie?
I did, but I didn't know that. I thought she just got healed, but she could still have the powers.
No, I mean she could still have the powers. Like Janet could have temporarily healed her because in the post-credit scene, they sent Scott into the quantum realm to go get more particles for her. So it could be a temporary thing.
See, guys, I clearly don't pay attention to movies. This is why I know absolutely nothing. No, but yeah, that's weird. Then she just runs away, and
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the
I'm
other
very confused by
the
that.
other person who's also supposed to be seen as the villain is Bill Foster. I also don't get villain vibes from him because he saves Janet, he saves Hank multiple times in this movie.
Right.
So when they reveal that he's actually the bad guy, it's been Hank all along. Doesn't do anything because there's no substance to it. Hold on, I'm gonna look up on Google who is.
I mean, the FBI is after Hope and Hank, but it's understandable. They have technology that goes against the Sokovia Accords. It's like that's like the FBI is not the villain. They're just impeding. Like, Jesus, I don't know, man. This film's just generic. It's like, again, like the lack thereof of a villain.
Okay, so yeah, apparently, Ghost is the villain of this movie.
I don't get villain vibes, man.
Even though when you look up, the first result is who is the villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first answer is Kang the Conqueror. So
right, it's been Kane all along.
When we look at the relevance of this movie,
Kane the Conqueror was the villain.
Yes,
he pulled the strings of the two Ant-Man films. He's the reason this all happened.
I guess because, Marvel. Honestly, that's what I would have liked to see is a Kang song, like an Agatha All Along.
No.
Oh my God, Jonathan. Yes. Oh, don't even. That would have been badass.
Jonathan Majors saying that it's he who remains, he who remains.
No, they could have honestly done something else, but I don't know, man. This movie for me, it's honestly something that there's not much to talk about in this movie. It's set up for Endgame, not as good as the first one.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know. It's just like
and for
funny.
A rating, yeah, funny. Luis is great. The crew is great, even though they're not as good in this movie. Yeah, it's everything that was things that were strong about the first movie are strong in this movie. Everything else is not good. Villain, plot, all of that, not good. Characters.
Yeah, it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah,
it's a MacGuffin movie. It's like The Rise of Skywalker.
Even though The Rise of Skywalker is better than this. I'll say that. I'll say Rise of Skywalker is way better than this movie.
I can't say that.
I can, because at least with The Rise of Skywalker, there's a plot to the movie. It's Rey and crew trying to stop Palpatine before.
I mean, the part of this movie is to get Janet to get Janet out of the quantum realm.
Yeah, again, both movies very similar. Now that I think about it, they are both very similar. Great humor, great character moments, MacGuffin heavy, and it's to stop. It's to end with getting to or stopping another character. Damn, that movie! Oh my god, they're so similar. I don't know. I mean, again,
Guys, that's what Kathleen Kennedy said. I want it to be like that one, Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's how we're gonna end the trilogy.
it's been
Right
Captain
there.
Kennedy all along.
I'm
Dun,
joking.
dun, dun,
I'm
dun,
joking.
dun,
I'm
dun.
joking, of course. I don't know
Who
what
wanted
happened.
to bring back Darth City? Yes, it's been Kathleen Kennedy all along. I'm telling you, dude, she'd make a great villain in these movies for a lot of Star Wars
By the way,
fans.
Rise of Skywalker was well in production when this movie came out, so that obviously didn't happen. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, production for this movie started like a few months after The Last Jedi came out.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I think I'm going to give it 6.5, 7
go.
out of 10.
I'm giving that a 4 out of 10.
Oh wow, it's that bad. I see. It's
Yeah.
not bad. It's not bad. It's to give it a 6.5. 6.5.
If I were
It
to give
doesn't.
it my rating
It's
out of
not
50,
bad.
my rating out of 50 for this movie, no joke, is like a 25.
Yeah, it's
Like,
average then. It's mid.
Average.
So it's
20 to 25 in that range currently right now. I need to think more about it, which is what
It's-
I'm going to do with you after this. So buckle up.
I'm thinking of the worst, my least favorite MCU films. So Dark World, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel. This one's probably in the bottom. Age of Ultron's pretty low.
It won't be after your rewatch.
Probably pretty low. I'm gonna say bottom 6 or 7 MCU film for me. This is,
Yeah.
which is not bad. I mean, it's bad, but like,
bad.
it's not as bad as the other ones I named.
Right, yeah. I guess. Yeah. That's it for me for Ant-Man
Okay.
and the Wasp. Now
So
we move
now-
on to
Oh, by the way,
Ant-Man. Oh,
if you wanted to rank this so far as it's not a full. So after Quantumania and Guardians 3, we would have 5 trilogies in the MCU, correct?
so Guardians, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Ant-Man. Did I say Guardians already?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, so 5. And then technically, if you want to count the Avengers movies, because
No.
I consider Infinity War and Endgame one movie.
Okay.
So
But I just
I'll
want to
consider
rank.
it 6, but 5.
I just want to rank the characters.
Yeah.
So as
So
of now,
As of now, it's going to go the Guardians at the top.
Cap.
Thor. No. Damn, dude. All the
I'll say
trilogy
mine. I'll say
movies
mine.
suck. Yeah, go
Guardians.
Think.
Guardians. Okay, it depends on the third one. As long as it's probably average or above average, it'll be better than Captain America.
Mhm.
Iron Man, because Iron Man 1's good, and I like Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Thor. Ooh, no. I want to put Ant-Man above Thor, but Ragnarok. Okay, as of now, Thor, then Ant-Man.
So I'm going to go Guardians, Captain America, Ant-Man.
Okay.
No, I don't
Ooh.
know. Ant-Man and the Wasp really brings back the first one.
It's so tough because like Iron Man's weird.
Iron Man is weird because you have a really good movie, a pretty bad movie, and then
like
a
a
movie
mid.
that's kind of like it's
Depends on when you
okay.
watch it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not great.
And then Thor has 2 not so great films and a banger.
And then just top 5 MCU movie.
Right.
So I'm gonna go Guardians, obviously, 2 great movies as of now, and I have more than enough faith in James Gunn to
Totally.
make a good third movie, good closing movie. And then I'll put Captain America. I do want to say I do enjoy every Captain America movie. There are just glaring problems with all of them.
Okay,
Like
that's fair.
I'll say that. I'll say I enjoy the movies. I don't love them though. Um, I'll then put Iron Man, Thor, and then Ant-Man.
Okay, all right.
It's
It's
just
time to.
right now. If Quantumania, which we'll segue into, if Quantumania is good, then it'll definitely beat out Thor. But
Okay, so
wait! There's 6 trilogies. We forgot the Spider-Man trilogy. Oh, then that's easy. It'll go Guardians, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor,
oh no no,
Ant-Man.
I'll put it after. I'll put it after Captain America, but before Iron Man.
Easily next to Guardians with the 2 most consistent trilogy movies.
But if everything's true about No Way Home, it will be number one.
Look, people become so desperate for news about No Way Home. Have you seen it all over TikTok? Movie theaters are putting fake posters.
I did see that.
Like, dude,
They have to release the trailer soon. Like they have to.
Well, did you see what happened on Twitter?
No, what's up?
A person who's been getting like leaks about all this pretty like accurate, has said that the trailer was supposed to release today, but someone at Sony did not like the fact that got leaked, so they're delaying it again.
So the thing is this whole movie is basically online. If you really wanted to know what the whole plot of the movie was, you could go online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's pretty accurate leaks about the film. So, like, it's the worst. They already said it's the worst kept secret in Hollywood that Toby and Andrew are in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be good.
It's going to be good, but it's also like, people still honestly have their doubts that they're in this movie.
They're 100%. I'm not even going to deny.
I'll tell you this.
We just had a whole show about variants. I'm not even going to debate that.
Last month, I would have told you no chance. I don't think.
I knew they were going to be in it.
After Loki, yeah, they're almost 1,000% in that movie. If they're not, dude,
just wonder in what magnitude. I'm excited, but I'm just a little worried. Man.
It's also like, I know we're supposed to be talking about Quantumania. It all links together, okay?
Correct.
Multiverse, King the Conqueror, all the
Kane the Conqueror's okay. So we just said Kane, so let's talk about Quantumania.
Hold on, wait, no.
No, I'm done with Spider-Man.
No.
Quantumania talk.
I want to talk to you. How long do you think No Way Home is going to be? If that movie is not at a minimum 2 hours and 30 minutes, that movie is going to be Rise of Skywalker level rush. It has to be. How do you explain Sinister Six, Multiverse, Doctor Strange, Toby Andrew?
Probably 2 hours 20, like The Last Jedi length.
Dude, that movie, it better be long, because let me tell you, if that
I don't know how they're gonna do it. No, it's not that one. It's Doctor Strange.
That movie's gonna be like 10 hours long.
That movie is focused on every character but Doctor Strange.
Literally, dude. That's also what's sad about these upcoming things. Like, I joke about the whole Yelena thing. Like, ha 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 ha. I am excited for Hawkeye because I love Clint Barton. Okay, if you're an archer,
I love him.
you. Like, I love Arrow.
But I actually also love the character of Yelena. Yeah, I really do.
But it's also like I'm excited because Yelena's going to be in the show. I really love Florence Pugh. I really love Lena Belova. But I'm also excited because of Hawkeye. I know. Call me strange for being excited about the Hawkeye show for Hawkeye. But it's also like I see so many people excited for Doctor Strange for the wrong reasons. Like,
Doctor Strange.
Wrong with it's Doctor Strange's movie. But people are more excited about Peter Parker, Wanda, Kang the Conqueror, Loki. It's like, guys, Loki had a TV show. Wanda had a TV show. Spider-Man had a movie. Can Doctor Strange get his own thing, like his second thing? Come on now.
The villain was set up for Mordo to be the villain. That's not happening.
Yeah, Mordo will definitely be like a Jimmy Woo or something, like a thorn in the side of the main character. Again, it's like
Strange is trying to fix everything, and Mordo is just like being a...
Yeah, he's just like, I want your power.
Right.
Go away.
Yeah.
that's another thing is like these MCU projects, dude. I think let me ask you a question before we go into Quantumania because Quantumania has a lot to do with this. Do you think Marvel is too connected right now?
No,
I
I
think it
think it's
is.
good.
I think around the time of around Phase 1 and Phase 3 was when the connectivity of the MCU was at its finest because not everyone was showing up everywhere. Like,
Question,
yeah,
follow-up question to that. Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
saying that normal people are going to get really confused here coming up?
Yeah, I do. I I think this. I think
There's a lot of I will say there is a
I
lot of
think
stuff.
this. I think if you're going into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Spider-Man No Way Home and you did not watch Loki, you're going to be confused out of your mind of what's going on. Maybe they'll do a quick recap like I don't know, like a previously on.
Right, dude,
I don't know.
imagine you haven't seen Loki and you
And
just see
yeah,
Tom Hiddleston in Multiverse of
you're going to
Madness.
be
You would be
confused out of
so
your mind. You're going to
confused.
be like, I thought this guy died already.
Right.
And then you're gonna, when people come out of it, they're gonna be like so confused, like, "Oh, this movie sucks." Because they're bringing back characters who are dead, and they're like, "No, no, 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 no! Go watch the Loki TV show. It makes more sense now." So again, that's where I'm gonna ask you this because a lot of people, when we talk about the Star Wars prequels, a lot of people say this: is do you think the prequels rely on the Clone Wars? That's a whole question. Do you think that Spider-Man: No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness are going to rely on you have previously watching Loki?
Probably. And even WandaVision. Not so much
Yeah.
WandaVision, but Loki. Loki more so. Of course, you gotta put that on.
Yeah, since we're talking about Loki, I'll put it on. It doesn't want to go on. But
And
yeah,
Quantumania. I mean, maybe not so much, but like we did introduce a variant of Kane.
yeah, it's this thing is like digging into my ear right now. But yeah, it's like that's why I asked, like, do you think Marvel is too connected right now? Because I think it's coming to the point where with
I don't
Star,
think so.
let me give you an example. With Star Wars, you don't have to watch you don't have to watch the Clone Wars to understand what's going on in
I
Revenge
think
of the
Star
Sith.
Wars is going to be like Marvel, though. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think Star Wars is going to be way more connective in the next year and a half.
In what form? Let me ask you that. What
Okay,
way?
so I mean, you're gonna have to watch. I mean, in order to watch the Book of Boba Fett, you're gonna have to watch Mando.
Yeah,
Probably in order to understand those two, you're gonna have to watch Ahsoka. In order, I think Kenobi has more tie-ins to Andor than we think, with characters like Callus,
right.
Bail. Um, but Marvel, I think Marvel is so ginormous. It's killing streaming. It's killing it in the theaters. Uh, I think it's so widely popular that people will watch it.
Well,
So
yeah, people are gonna watch it, but it's a thing of like when people start talking about the variants and whatnot. Do you think they're gonna get confused? Because I know I would. I was confused when the Avengers got together. Okay, like I was like, how do all these people somehow fit together? And
uh,
it's like you had to watch those solo movies before,
maybe
and yeah, maybe that's just a concern that I have going in, is that I just think we're getting to a point where Marvel's getting a little too connected. That's why when I think Hawkeye comes out, I think it'll be a good breath of fresh air to be like, oh, no Loki, no multiverse, no none of that. Like, I don't know.
okay.
So
I feel that, but
now
let's
let's move on to Quantumania talk because that's what
okay.
this is
So
about.
I am really excited for this movie for one reason, because it has maybe one of my new favorite villains, Kane the Conqueror, played by the great Jonathan Majors, who did a fantastic job as playing He Who Remains. I felt very frightened by He Who Remains,
He
and as
was
he
just
said,
he was just so energetic. You didn't know if you should be scared or if you should start laughing.
as he said, the other variants are not as kind as him.
No,
And
which is funny because he is not a very kind man.
we are getting the baddest, the Conqueror one,
Yeah.
the Kane the Conqueror. So okay, so basically, I am very confused about this movie because why are we introducing Kane in this one? because like we talked about the other day, the villains of the Ant-Man movies are like
It made no
this,
sense.
and then they're gonna go
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
It's like with Darren Cross, you understood. You know, he's jealous of Scott becoming Ant Man, so you get that. There was no villain in Ant Man. Supposed to be real. Then you get some Thanos level villain in a solo movie. It's like with the thing with the villains from the solo character movies, they're not like Avenger level threats.
Right.
Like they're not someone who's like, oh, the main character. Like obviously, yeah, we all make the thing of like, well, this would just make more sense if Captain America went to go find Iron Man so they could take down Winter Soldier together.
Right.
It's like okay, stop. It's Captain America's movie. This, however, how Ant-Man is the person who's getting taken down.
What if
I don't
Ant-Man
know.
kills Kane? What if that
Oh
would be
my
so
god, I'll
funny?
fucking lose it. Like, not even like Loki and Sylvie. Oh, not even not kill him because obviously Sylvie killed him. But it's more like they like intimidated two a god and a goddess of mischief.
Yeah. Okay. So
how you gonna tell me Scott Lang?
I don't think he has. I don't think he has a big role in this film. I think pretty much the only thing that happens is that he uses the quantum realm to get to this time period.
Maybe, but again, it's just like I don't know. I don't know. What
I don't need to see Scott Lang fighting Kane the Conqueror because that fight shouldn't last more than 15 seconds.
But no, hold on. It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So
Sorry.
Ant-Man and the Wasp fighting Kane the Conqueror.
Maybe 25 seconds then.
Wow, you give me. Wow, I see. Giving the woman less power than the man. I see how it is.
No. My bad. 10 seconds for Ant-Man, 15 for the Wasp because
but now you're not giving the man enough to the female. Clearly, you're just feminist.
Misandrist. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but
0 seconds because this is Kang the Conqueror we're talking about.
I have seen on TikTok. Everyone thinks that Hank's gonna die in this film.
Everyone, dude. Have you seen all those my predictions for who will die in Phase 4? All
of them.
Hank. Same. They always start with Hank too. They always start with him. It's just like I think Hank will die in this movie.
I think it would be really dark if they did like. I don't know who would be the villain of this, but let's say they have like a surface level villain, and then you just see Kane travel through the quantum realm at the end, and he just kills them all. It'd be a really dark way to end it.
Yeah, that'd be a fucking dark way, and it would never happen.
Who knows, Mr. Feige? I mean, they literally killed the fan favorite character in Infinity War within 10 minutes. So,
okay, that's different because that's an Avengers movie, and this is Thanos. This is Thanos we're talking about here.
Kane is more powerful than Thanos.
This is Ant-Man. Okay,
right. But who do we think? Okay, so let's go through the main people. So we think Hank's dead. Both of us think that Hank dies.
Dude, I don't know why. I'm getting a gut feeling that Luis is gonna die in this movie. I don't know why.
No, I don't think so.
I'm getting a gut feeling that they're gonna kill Luis, and if they kill Luis, anyone on that crew, I'm stomping my way down to Marvel Studios, stomping my way down with my Loki crown. I'm bashing every single window in that building, and I'm just leaving.
Janet.
Nah, I think both Hank and Janet will die. I think
sacrifice them. Okay.
Sacrifice for both. I think they'll both.
Oh.
I think this. I think all four of them will team up as the Wasps and the Ant-Mans in a fight against Kang, and so that they can escape. They'll Janet and Hank will die so that Hope and Scott can live, which is an effed up thing because we all thought Hank was going to die in the first movie. We all thought Janet was going to die in the second movie, and then they both die in the third one.
We're also going to get Cassie Lane as Stature.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Stature. Yeah. So what if Cassie makes a saving play?
That would be dark.
That would be chef's kiss.
But they're setting up the Young Avengers, it seems like, and she's a Young Avenger, so
She is. She is.
What if
We're getting
Scott
a lot
dies?
Okay, they're not going to kill Scott Lang.
Ooh, I don't know, man. That would
Why
make a
would
lot
they
of
kill?
sense.
Why would they kill Scott Lang?
What is the purpose of Ant-Man at this point? I mean, what was the purpose in the first place? What was his
Um,
purpose now?
he's a shrinky guy who can go in quantum realm.
I think it might just be Cassie, man. That makes
No,
it a...
because who is she going to learn how to become Ant-Man from?
Okay, maybe Scott lives.
Because she
And Hope.
doesn't become the Wasp. She becomes Ant-Man. She becomes like an Ant Woman. She
Right.
has Scott's powers, not
Right.
Wasp's. So
Yeah.
that's why. That's why.
But do
that
we
was
think...
also? I want to say
I
before we move on to the Endgame actress who played Cassie Lang. I feel terrible for you.
Right, this is the third different one.
Yes, third different actress. Why they recasted her? Don't know.
I don't know, yeah. But how big of a villain do we think Kane's going to be? I just don't see him being... He's the main villain, but that's kind of a general term. Like,
But then,
I
like,
don't...
who do you fill in for that villain slot?
I mean, it's rumored that Darren Cross is going to be back.
I don't know.
I don't want to see that again then.
Maybe what happens, okay, let's connect those brainwaves. What if, okay, this is going to be a long theory, okay, so hear me out.
Okay, I'm going to sit back then.
So, we see Darren Cross's helmet in the void. So what if, okay, because me and you think the same thing, we said this earlier, we don't think that he died, he just shrunk really small. So what if Kang brings him back together, goes to, or gets his helmet from the void or whatever, wherever his stuff is, and so he's a henchman of Kang the Conqueror. So what if we have that like pulling the strings? What if like we have that Palpatine to Vader relationship to this movie? Or maybe not Palpatine, maybe Palpatine to Dooku. Like villain, Dooku's a villain. But he's not really someone who's like, if he dies, you'll miss. Now, if Palpatine died, yeah, we'd probably miss him because he's so good. So what if we see that? And what if we see that, what if we have that moment where, it's coming down to that second final fight between Ant-Man and Darren. Yellow Jacket versus the Ant-Man. And he's about to fire and kill Ant-Man. And Hank jumps in front to take the blast, and that's how Hank goes out. And then, of course, they'd have to kill Darren Cross. But now the plan would be set in motion for Kang the Conqueror to begin conquering.
And I think the end, yeah, I like that theory. And I think the end credit scene would then be Kane traveling through the quantum realm and just landing in... which, by the way, when is Kane's next appearance going to be? That's the big question. Is it going to be in Loki season 2 or in this? Or is it in Multiverse of Madness? Or is it at the end credits of Spider-Man? There's a lot of questions. I really think that Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be his next appearance. I don't know about you.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Which, I think there's not much to talk about for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. We just don't know enough yet. We don't have enough knowledge about that movie.
I believe it is filming already.
Yeah, it's also like that movie doesn't come out for 2 years or a year and a half, so it's like too much to tell or not too much to talk about. But I do think that is something that we can segue maybe to our final thing. I don't know yet. Recently, a video on TikTok has been going around that if you start the Loki season finale and the WandaVision series finale at the exact same time, at the moment that the threshold is passed, Wanda would have just become the Scarlet Witch. So people are theorizing, so let me get your take on this, that when we already know that Wanda's a Nexus being, which is basically someone who can not control time, but either works for or works against the time. She can do basically anything. Well, Wanda's already an overpowered being, a reality warper, all of that. So what do you think about that? Because I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting theory that...
Are you saying she caused a Nexus event?
That she caused the ultimate Nexus event that broke the timeline of her becoming the Scarlet Witch.
It would make sense. That would be a really cool tie
I
tie-in.
also think that because a lot of people also have the theory that when Sylvie then kills He Who Remains, that's when Wanda starts going through the Darkhold, and that's when she like hears Billy and Tommy's voice. That's when Kang dies
And
because
she hears them in another
yeah.
multiverse.
So yeah, I love that theory. Well, not only is it's just the thing that's like it all perfectly lines up. That it's like
Right.
Marvel is very meticulous about these things, and
Well,
these
I don't
things
know
don't
if
just happen coincidentally.
well, I
Like
don't know
that's
if you
well,
I don't
yeah.
mean to cut you off, but I don't know if you saw this, but on the timeline, uh, on Disney Plus, Loki takes place before WandaVision,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
interesting.
It's also
So
and
that would add up to the theory
yeah.
that
People also have been trying to counter the theory is that technically that couldn't have happened because when He Who Remains dies, that's at the end of time and not in 2023. But it's like that's not the point. Is that the multiverse is everywhere.
right.
It's not just 2023. It's everywhere that this would happen.
Which, by the way, and to talk more about Loki and the gallery thing that they did, the reason that it's a circle is because
Don't
they
spoil
talked
it.
about.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil that. So they talk about
Oh,
how watches circles, clocks circles. So that's why they illustrated time like that. It's
well,
not spoiling
well, I also
anything,
just think it's I just thought it was I thought it was an obvious thing why it was a circle because it's a time loop.
right?
Which I think this. I would have thought that the one of the biggest Nexus events would have been Strange versus Dormammu. Would it like again when we think of Nexus
How does the
being?
TVA stop that
I
if
don't
it went
know.
wrong?
I don't know.
It's in a different dimension.
Yeah, it's also like when you think about this, like when we think about this, like you have to think like I believe in the comics, Loki was a Nexus being also, which is why the TVA targeted specifically Loki's. Well, not even specifically Loki's, but they would have their eyes like double checked on Loki's, which is why Sylvie doing something as harmless as playing as with a Valkyrie toy created a Nexus event because that man cannot become a hero. But yeah, it's an interesting thing that we already have two Nexus beings creating waves in the multiverse, that being Loki and Wanda. So look, I've already said this. I already think Wanda's the strongest Avenger. And I think that this theory just proves even more that her becoming the Scarlet Witch, not doing anything, not peering into the multiverse, no, her literally just accepting being the Scarlet Witch broke the multiverse.
Right.
That's why I think I love this theory because
Cross this threshold. Yeah.
yeah, it's like well, and another thing is like a lot of people think, well, oh, it could be just the TVA, like when B-15 and Mobius went through and like could have caused a bunch of Nexus events, but it's just like for them to cause that many and for them to cause that many terrible Nexus events, no way. Because we see Loki misplacing an Infinity Stone. That didn't even create a massive timeline. So what would it matter?
Right.
Like Loki loving himself created a terrible timeline. So it's just like that's when I say I think that theory makes the most sense because I just think it's a weird coincidence and it's also like the details just match up because it's also at the same time when Agatha like drops from the sky. That's when Kang drops that little like figurine. So people could have been like, "Oh, that was him dictating that happen." I don't think so. I like the part of the theory where it's Wanda became the Scarlet Witch and that broke the multiverse.
Interesting. Yeah, I I could definitely see that. So yeah, I guess that's the show. We talked about the two Ant-Man talked about Hawkeye, talked about everything in the MCU,
Everything and
which is
everyone.
great. We will be back Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern with a special guest, Maddie the Archivist,
Yes.
to recap episode 13 of The Bad Batch. We will be back next Wednesday to recap Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, baby.
Age of Ultron, yeah.
If that doesn't go to your favorite movie.
Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching.
Glorious purpose will happen.
For watching on YouTube, you'll probably see this on Thursday. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on Twitch tonight, thank you. So yeah, as always, you can follow me on all socials: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Hammy Demand.
You can probably start making that your like StreamYard name instead of just Hammy.
I'm gonna keep it as this. You can find Alex on TikTok at Candy in My Van, and I don't know if you want your other socials plugged, so plug them for yourself.
I think everything else is either Candy in My Van or Candy isn't in my van.
Okay, so yeah, that's the show. Thank you guys as always for watching. As I said earlier, be back Friday to recap The Bad Batch, where Alex is gonna shit on Lucasfilm.
Yes,
thank you guys for watching. And I'm joking, of course. And we will see you all then. May the Force be with you.